Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're gonna do The Nice House on the Lake, Book 1 by DC Black Label. I have been eyeing this for a while now because I read the concept and I think, hey, this is cool. So I went on a Facebook group and I bought me 7 books, and the covers are really, really nice, and there are even more good-looking covers as well. I'm gonna show you a couple. I got this one, 127. So this looks really cool. It looks like there's somebody, shining a flashlight on those people in here. And look at this. It's really nice. And this is the last one so far. There are 9 books, I believe. And so I'm only missing 2. So is it good? Well, I don't know. I just only read it from 1 to 3. So I want to show you the first one, and then we're going to through the others and see if it's actually good in the end. So I'm opening up with this girl here, and she's hurt, and I don't know. Something is happening, and she breaking the fourth wall. I guess. I mean, she's talking to us. And she talks about what happened in the past a little bit. She talks about that she has a couple of friends. They are meeting someone, and they are, invited to a group of people that they don't know. For instance, I have a different friends group. I have friends that I know for years, probably 15, 20, 25 years. And I have quote unquote newer friends. And that means I've known 1 or 2 of these people, and they introduced me to their friends as well. So you actually don't know them very well, but you are friends, but not really friends, if you know what I mean. You just hang out, but you're still friends, and you basically know each other for a bit. That's what's happening here. And she talks about a guy that was in the group, and that guy is called Walter. And Walter, at one point in a bar, or in a restaurant or whatever, asked her a question. And the question is, how do you think the world will end? And she says, what? So they're having a chat about hypothetical what the world would end, or how the world would end, and how it would look like, and how people behave, right? And that's all, nice. It's a philosophical question, if that's how you can call it. Then Walter says, or she says, what do you think how the world will end? I don't know. I'm still trying to decide. But it helps to talk about it, I think. We should continue this conversation sometime. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Because she says, so basically she says that Walter actually likes this woman, or this girl, a young woman, I said. And she thinks he had feelings for her, but she never felt that it was uncomfortable. Maybe a little bit needy, but nothing more than that. She even invited him once or twice to a party, or to some friends, or go dancing, etc. And then she got a text about that he wanted to continue the conversation about what they talked about before. And then he disappeared for 2 years. And then suddenly she got an email. And you can read it here. This is the email, sending to all these people. Great weekend getaway this summer. I'm gonna read the stuff a little bit. Hello, you all, you beautiful monsters. It's been a busy few years. And we have all spread ourselves thin around the country and abroad. It's not as easy to meet up for a drink as it used to be. Even those of you still live in the city would rarely get to see me, especially given the state of the world. I miss you all terribly. And that's something I like to remedy. Skipping this few this sentences here. He says, this is important to me. This is why I'm texting you all mysteriously about your summer schedule and plans. So no pretending you have something better to do. If you need help with travel, let me know. If you need to be strong-armed into coming, let me know, and I unleash my very strong arms. I sent you more detailed itinerary as we get closer, Walter. And then he sent some pictures. And I must say, this looks very cool. Wait a minute, do I have too much light in here? Just give me a second, guys. Let me see if this is better. No, not really. Ah, okay, well, I hope you see this picture. Well, it doesn't really matter, but I wanted to show you how nice it looks. And then we're getting introduced to the nice house on the lake. It's made by James Tinion, who's the writer, and Alvaro Martinez Bueno, is the artist and cover. It seems that the writer did also another comic that is pretty popular. It's called Something is Killing the Children. I believe also by Image Comics, but I'm not entirely sure. Why I'm saying also this is DC, it's totally different. Anyway, so we're getting introduced to her younger self here. Well, younger. I don't know how many time is between, here. I'm sorry, here and here. But we're getting introduced to Ryan Kane, 26 years old. And well, you can read all this, what's happening. She's been coming to the house, and there's another person is sitting there, and then they have a small chat. And says, "Oh God, he dragged you into this. I'm so sorry. What a freaking monster." It's fine. And then we're getting introduced to. By the way, I have to show you this. See these symbols? The artist, the writer. We're coming back to that a little bit later. So first of all, when I look at this character and then I read this quote unquote bio. Name and gender revised 5 years ago. So yeah, this is a transgender. Coming back to that a little bit later. It's not really important, but I want to point it out anyway, because how I think about modern writing and modern events and modern stuff. It's all in here. I'm not saying it's super woke, but it's in here. And then she says also, while they're having a chat, I got to scan you before you come in. And I thought to myself, what do you mean scan? And then I realized later that this comic is made in the period that we have COVID. And I was totally forgetting about that. Not that it's important, but it's like I said, from maybe 20, 30, 50 years from now on. I have comics from 50 years ago, right? I still read them. I have comics from 40 years ago, 30 years ago. I don't know much anymore what happened in those time periods because that's too far away from me and I got a bad memory. So if people are reading this comic, 30 years from now, yeah, we have a big pandemic. Nobody's going to probably forget that. But do we need to insert that in a comic? That we have a pandemic, that we have masks? Apparently, this writer thinks that's important. Because we have more of this stuff in this comic. And that's probably one of my biggest gripes about that. The whole modern stuff. I mean, this is a comic. You can do whatever you want. And you chose to throw quote-unquote politics and modern sensibilities. Well, is that a word, sensibilities? Modern, well, let's say modern stuff. And with modern stuff, I mean, there's all these social issues, We have a transgender. Spoiler, we have also a gay guy. We have a lot of diversity in here because maybe you don't know, but every person in the world has a diverse friend in their friends group. Also trans or lesbian or person of color. Everyone in the whole world. So don't you forget, right? That's important. That's why it's in here. Because other people cannot enjoy things without seeing themselves in the comic with their, with the pronouns. So, okay, moving on before I'm going on a rant. It's in here, but to be honest, it's not really intrusive. It's not getting in the way, but, why it's in here, I don't know. So they're going inside, and they will see a beautiful inside look at the house. And we're getting all introduced to, let's say, 10 or 11 people. And all these people has those names. He's called the comedian. And they're greeting each other. Some of them don't know each other. Some people do know each other. They know from the past. and they all are in here. They're all invited, and this transgender person is a, I don't know if it's a he or she or they or them. Doesn't matter because it's not getting explained. So I'm not going to refer this person as a she or a he because it's never been told to me what it is. Yeah, if you find that offensive, I'm sorry. Well, not sorry because the artist or sorry the writer didn't tell me what gender this is. So fuck that. And then we have also, we have the reporter, we have the scientist, we have the accountant, we have the acupuncturist. And what I noticed is that none of these people has the label of let's say they have, how do you say, job descriptions, if you can call it that. And none of them has manual labor job descriptions. Nobody says I'm a sewer worker, I'm a firefighter, I'm a woodcutter, everything that's, or work in a factory, with metal, or carrying metal beams or whatever. No, just all these, these nice, safe, also important, but titles. We have a doctor, we have a reporter, we have an accountant. Yeah, here's the doctor, and we have also a pianist or whatever, and then we have this consulate as well. It's all deliberate, right? Because I believe all these people that writing modern comics now have never, ever, ever in their whole life did something physical. They are just rolling into, I don't know, high school or university, and it says, hey, I want to be a socialist, and I'm going to be a writer. And they go into comics, and they all talk about how important diversity is. When it comes to skin tone, yes, but how about manual labor? People that are on the bottom of the ladder. How about those people? That are not rich. Why do you have all these socialites? Okay, I'm probably going a little bit too far here, but it's aggravating. It's because in every comic with these kind of writers, it's always the same. It's always the same people that have been inserted in this comic. It's never anything else than these kind of people that you are seeing here. Now, I'm not saying this is bad. It's just a little bit irritating for me because I want to see something different. I want to see somebody that, I coming from a shitty neighborhood. I had to work my ass off to where I am now. Some struggles, of that they are maybe proud to be, working in a factory, or being a policeman. I'm not sure, stuff like that. Instead of all these people that work in behind a desk or something. I'm working from behind a desk now, but before that, I worked 25 years in a factory. I know what hard work is when it comes to physical labor. But I worked my way up, and I did it. Now I'm gonna move on. Why am I so angry? Sorry. Oh man, I just hate modern comics. So why you buy this one? Well, because there is something here, and I'm going to talk about that now. I'm sorry for this whole raging introduction about me hating modern politics. So all these people are, we see who these people are. I must say this whole conversation and the narrative is a little bit bloated because you don't know really who these people are. And you say, well, this is the first issue. Yes, that's true. But, after a couple issues, we only focus on a certain group of people. And even with the flashbacks, it's not really fleshed out who these people are. And not everyone is likable, but that's probably deliberate. Not sure. And then we're getting to introduce to Walter, and he says, hey, everybody, I'm glad you came. And let's have a barbecue. And then, Walter also writes to a person called Ryan, you can pause the video and read what's here. There's something that you probably want to know if you get to know the story, or that you want to know more about the story, I'm sorry. And he says that everybody, again, I'm going to tell you a little bit small thing what's in here. Everybody gets a symbol and a name, a small tag name, a superhero name, if you will, a mutant name, or just a name like a doctor, a pianist. Now, to be honest, maybe I was raising a little bit too soon because I'm not sure if these people are actually have that profession or that Walter just give them just a nickname. But still. And we see these symbols here again. What do these symbols mean? I don't know. But we see just this yellow dot. Now, I'm not sure if that's... Yes, it's the artist called Ryan Kane. So this story is about a little bit more about her. So I guess we're getting introduced to all of these characters in the next book. So if I'm taking this one, then we see, yes. So you see this yellow here, this yellow symbol? That's probably her. And this is Ryan. Yes, okay, cool. That's nice. That's a nice touch. It's a nice detail. So they're having a barbecue and they have, some chat and they get to know each other again. But then also Walter looks at Ryan. And then Ryan, decides to, want to be alone. And she's looking at her phone. And then she says, holy shit, no. And then we have some Twitter feeds. Yes. And a rainbow flag, because that is important somehow. So it seems that the world is on fire. We don't know why. Because people are in panic mode. She says, the sky looks like some fire. Never seen colors like this before. This is all fake. This is just some kind of promotion for a dumb movie. And then we see last images of CNN before it went black. Somebody says, goodbye, assholes. We have, of course, the blue check marks that are commenting. Some of them says, I can pull my skin off in the sheets. In sheets, it doesn't even hurt. It feels like putting. My skill is sticking to the phone as I type this. Fuck. And another one says, my ears start to bleed. Just start bleeding. And the skies turn red outside my house. We're outside of Pittsburgh. I thought it was just happening in New York. So people are, going crazy mode. And she's been horrified. So Ryan comes to the, runs to the group and says, and there's something wrong. And says, Ryan, shut the fuck up. Everything, there's something wrong. And then they all look at, so she showed what's happening on the feed, and then they are watching some television, and there's an emergency broadcast, and it seems that, the world is doomed. People are dying left and right. There's no clue why. And these kids here, well, kids, I say they're all in the mid-30s except for a couple of few. And before I go into this, I must say, when I said, a lot of bloated dialogue, we have also some childish dialogue because this guy says, I believe it's the pianist called Rick. He says, Ryan, what's your mutant name? She says, my what? The code name you use while protecting a society that hates and fears you. An X-Men reference. And then Sarah comes. He says, he's being stupid. I'm not being stupid. You're stupid. These guys are 30 plus years old, right? They're going towards the 40 years. How old is he? 34 years old, right? And they act like they are teenagers. It's just, not all of them, but, I just find it particularly weird. Anyway, so this guy says, okay, guys, we need to go back to our families. Let's pack up. And then Ryan thinks, and she looks at Walter. She says, I guess the conversation is over. You picked. She looks so in panic. I also forgot to mention the art and the colors. Now, why I'm doing that? Because I think this is more, how should I describe this? When I first opened this book, I saw these lines and these effects, and I really hate certain Photoshop effects for cheap effect. But then I read this comic now for the second time, and it fits. It's not for everyone. I believe that's a barrage of colors, but it's very nicely done. But the whole look of it and the feel of it is something that I need to adjust to it. Maybe that's the right word, because I wasn't keen on, looking at these kind of flashy, over the top, highly saturated colors. Then we dial a little bit back here. Moving on. So Walter says, somebody says, what is she talking about, Walter? Just tell them, don't pretend. So I'm gonna read the dialogue here right now. He says, sorry, everyone, you can't leave. He says, there is nowhere for you to leave to, no world to go back to, not in any way that matters. This house, this lake, the beautiful woods around it, this is what's left. The 7 billion people out there are dead, or they will be dead shortly. He says, what the fuck are you talking about, Walter? This is why I brought you here. I wanted to save you from what my people were doing to your planet. I'm not going to explain you what I really am or why this was necessary. I'd rather you all think of me as the man you always knew me to be, your friend. That's why I arranged this a corner of the world preserved for you to live out the rest of your lives in peace. You won't want for anything here. You have delicious foods, alcohol, kayaks, boats, entertainment. You have this incredibly house just built for you. And you have each other. And you will never, ever able to leave. But then, while he says that, he says, you're going to be okay. You're all going to be okay. Nothing out matters now. Nothing out there matters now. It's just what matters in here. So this transgender person immediately grabs this, how do you say, metal poke and charges at him. And then we see what Walter not truly is, but what he represents. And he said, what the actual fuck? But then her actions has a price. And we see some warping here. And then her whole hand is on fire, or there's something happening to her. While Walter is trying to reassemble himself. I know you all heard him, but in this time you see this was the right call. I'll be back every now and then to toast to the old world. Until then, I hope you find it in yourself to enjoy it, or something like that. I love you all. And then he disappears. And then we see no words, no shouting, no screaming, just shock and visual storytelling. And then it all fades to black. To be continued. I really like that. I really, really like that. This is so cool. When I thought to myself, oh man, what happened? Who is this guy? Look at this. This is crazy. And it's so awesome. And do you see that we never see his eyes? Only his glasses that are just, reflections or white colored or whatever. That's so cool. So overall, I was pretty surprised. Pretty surprised, did I say? I was pleasantly surprised. When it comes to criticism, well, I mentioned what I told you before about the modern day politic things in here. I really, really do not like that. But it's as of now not intrusive. It's not in your face. But again, it's in here. What I also do not get is this action from this transgender person. So basically, because he immediately attacks him and tried to kill him. Now, okay, so let's say it was real, right? And your one of your friends comes into the room and says exactly that. Hey, listen, I'm an alien and everybody in the world is dead. Are you really gonna pick up a piece of metal and want to try that person that you have known for years immediately? Because at this point, we do not know, even though he says it, but we do not know. Actually, there was no proof that Walter is actually an alien. For all, maybe he just, want to enlighten the mood. Maybe he just knows what's happening in the world and maybe he wants to try to say something funny to ease, what's happening out there. But this crazy person immediately attacks him. And, well, he's an alien after all. But, if this happened, this is not what you do, right? You do not randomly attack persons for saying just stuff. without actual evidence. Although the world is on fire. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think about my rant or not. But especially what you think about this comic. I'm really, really curious what you think about that. Yeah? Okay, see you later, guys. Hope you have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.